वेलकम टू डेफ टॉक्स. दिस इज आदि अचिंत. आइए समझें जियोपॉलिटिक्स को एक भारतीय नजरिए से.
So India has a mindset where it hits, it punches below its weight. We have to punch not above our weight. We have to punch not below our weight. We have to increase our weight and punch the post.
ये हमारा सिद्धांत है. हम घर में घुस के मारेंगे.
You know, victims of terrorism do not sit together with perpetrators of terrorism to discuss terrorism.
नमस्कार, जय हिंद, जय भारत एंड वेलकम टू डेफ टॉक्स. हमारे साथ हैं राजा साहब हु विल टेल अस चाइना पाकिस्तान का क्या हो गया डिवोर्स, व्हाट इज एक्चुअली हैपनिंग. चाइना ने तो इस बारी लिताड़ के लात मारी है एंड वी कैन सी अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स एक्चुअली सडनली चेंजिंग ऑन द ग्राउंड इन पाकिस्तान. एंड लास्ट वीक मैंने आपके साथ एक अपडेट भी करा था कि साहब आईएमएफ ने भी बोला है, ओए पैसे नहीं मिलने वाले तेरे को, और तू ढंग से काम कर ले, उसके बाद देंगे. तो ये तो भाई दोनों तरफ से रोड पे आ रहा है. व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, लेट्स ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड. ऑफ कोर्स पाकिस्तान की डर्टी ट्रिक्स चलती रहेंगी, जैसे कश्मीर में चल रहा है, उसके बारे में कभी और बात करेंगे. Probably we'll try and get Raja Saab for another conversation on that. But today let's focus on China, Pakistan, and all of our favorite Imran Khan. Rumor has it कि साहब बाहर आ रहा है. So let's see what's happening. Namaskar once again.
नमस्कार सर, थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी वंस अगेन. लेट मी
Always
टेल यू,
a pleasure.
आपका इंट्रो थोड़ा सा और लंबा होना चाहिए. बड़ा ग्रूवी है, मजा आता है इसको.
I know
really
that
enjoy
song.
it.
I really like. I get charged up whenever I listen to that song.
Yeah, it's very groovy.
Yeah.
It puts you in the mood even if you're not in the mood. Yeah? It gets you back there. So it's nice. See, the Chinese are doing what exactly we spoke about last week. The problem is Chinese are not happy. ठीक है? They're not happy one bit. And the Chinese are now, this is like very, very surprising that the ambassador had to use a right to reply and blast them off when the Pakistanis tried to do disinformation on live disinformation. ही था वो security को लेके कि Chinese are very happy. उनके मुंह पर ही उनको झूठ बोल रहे थे वो. So he had to use right of reply and he had to say no. But then again, the Pakistani foreign minister coming out and again giving a statement tells you that all is not well. देखो वो होता है ना, एससीओ में शादी हो रही होती है, दूल्हा बैठा होता है, तो जितने सारे नाराज रिश्तेदार होते हैं उन सबको बोलते हैं प्लीज स्माइल स्माइल, फोटो के लिए तो स्माइल कर लो. दैट इज व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग एट एससीओ. द चाइनीज डेलीगेशन वाज नॉट देयर to celebrate with the Pakistanis. The Chinese delegation was there to take the Pakistanis to the task.
पैंट उतारने गए थे.
Basically, yes.
मजे में बोलो यार, पैंट उतारने गए थे.
यार फिर बेसिकली वो उनका पैंट तो हमने उतार दी थी, कच्छा उतारने गए थे टू बी ऑनेस्ट. हाँ, तो वहीं से प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, क्योंकि चाइनीज वन आर आस्किंग फॉर मनी. रोल ओवर उनको दे नहीं रहे हैं. पार्शियल रोल ओवर इनके साथ किया था आईएमएफ के लिए. IMF is not happy. I'll talk about it too. But the problem with the Chinese is the Chinese are putting a lot of pressure, saying that we need returns. And returns may you start giving us, we'll start taking care, taking over your facilities. They won't bother for sure. They know that Pakistanis are playing a game with Americans. Both Nawaz Sharif and Shahbaz Sharif and all those, and Asim Munir to some extent is also going and pandering to the Americans a lot. They think that the Pakistanis are going to backstab them when it comes to CPEC and Gwadar, and they think they are being blackmailed by the Pakistanis as well. So the Chinese are not taking the blackmail of the Pakistanis too well. क्योंकि पाकिस्तानीज का वो they are showing the boogeyman दिखा रहे हैं यूएसए को कि ये boogeyman है तुम्हारा और हम ही बचा सकेंगे. What they used to do with Americans with the Taliban, they're doing the same. They're playing exactly the same game with the Chinese. The Chinese are not buying that game. The Chinese are saying, boss, पैसे दो.
एक सेकंड, मेरे को एक चीज नहीं समझ में आती. ठीक है, चाइनीज है, तुमको लात मारी, ठीक है, फेयर इनफ, तुम्हारी गलती है, तुम लोग बेवकूफी कर रहे हो काफी टाइम से. यू गाइस हैव बीन बड़ी, चाइनीज के बंदे मर रहे हैं, तुमको लात मारी उसने. अपना पाकिस्तानी फॉरेन मिनिस्ट्री आके उसको दोबारा तुम काउंटर लात मार रहे हो टू अ गाय जिसका 70% तुम्हारा सारा डेट वो ओन करता है. अबे कर क्या रहे हो यार?
Exactly. So what is happening is they are trying to please the US desperately. by showing that we are standing up to the Chinese. Because what the US is blaming them for is, one, they are too soft with the Chinese when it comes to diplomacy. They're not standing up to them. They're giving in to their demands. Two, they have not shown them tangible results with ISKP.
To China or to
the other part, the Iran and all those. They have not.
अच्छा
नहीं है ना उतना उस लेवल पर नहीं है. Why did they get Zakir Naik? I actually am going to write. तुम ईरान को भी नहीं ठोक रहे और तुम हमको चाइना के साथ बेवकूफ बना रहे हो.
Okay, interesting.
So दो चीजें हैं इसमें. And to tell the Americans, because they know कि IMF ने 2 बार तो बोल दिया कि तुम लोगों का जो है ये फॉल्टर कर जाएगा. इनको पता है कि अगर IMF का फॉल्टर कर गया कोई पैसा नहीं देगा. So वो पैसों को सिक्योर करने के लिए they are willing to kick the Chinese in their knees. And that is exactly what they have done.
तो ये तो यार स्पीड अप हो गया. हमने तो बोला था धीरे धीरे करके चाइनीज को अंदर खींचेंगे. आप बोल रहे हो कि भाई अभी तो इनको मतलब दे विल हैव टू पुल देम इन फटाफट से.
नहीं तो दे विल नॉट पुल देम अप फटाफट से ना. आज जो आपने लिंक शेयर किया था जो आज ट्रिब्यून की स्टोरी है, तो दे हैव गिवन कंसेशन टू द चाइनीज. दे आर गिविंग वन एससीजी टू द चाइनीज कंप्लीटली.
गाइस बाय द वे जो चीज हम बात कर रहे हैं, कराची का जो स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन है वो पूरी तरह से ये लोग चाइनीज को हाथ में दे रहे हैं.
By the under the wishes of the prime minister.
हाँ.
As per prime minister's wish, it should be handed over to China for trial basis. So what does that mean? That means the Chinese are looking at one of your SEZs. Since IMF says that no more SEZs can be built and no more discounts can be given, the Chinese are saying let us secure the SEZs where we are putting the money first. बस पहले तो हमको वो दो जिसमें हमने पैसा लगाया है और ये SEZ देने को तैयार.
करेंगे क्या उसको?
कुछ नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि इनको पता है SEZ एक is on a smaller portion, छोटी सी land है, so the Chinese can easily manage it. Two, that SEZ has not been able to pick up economically. There is hardly any economic activity, so it's like a white elephant तो नहीं मैं उसको बोलूंगा, but it's like a dead zone giving to the Chinese कि maybe Chinese want to do something or they want to take it, let them take it. But this tells you that they're conceding their assets to China in lieu of CPEC. This tells you how grave the problem within Pakistan is and how hard China is playing. Now they don't want the Chinese military to come in and form a joint space. They're saying, अच्छा ठीक है SEZ आप एक ले लो फिलहाल, trial basis पे ले लो, आप ही चलाओ. You guys run it. So now it will be interesting to see कि कराची में अगर ये SEZ लेकर बैठते हैं, इसके repercussion क्या आते हैं? How are the Chinese going to manage this? And how are the Americans going to view this?
तो इससे दो कॉनोटेशन निकलते हैं आपके. पहले तो आप कराची में क्यों दे रहे हो? जो आपका बलूचिस्तान में ग्वादर आपने पूरा पोर्ट इनको दिया हुआ है, कराची में सेपरेट क्यों दे रहे हो उसको?
कराची में इसलिए क्योंकि वो जो SEZ है, that is the first SEZ which was built under the CPEC model, and that SEZ is ready.
Okay.
Right. So it's a functioning SEZ. ग्वादर में they don't have anything functioning in SEZs. ग्वादर में अभी इनके एयरपोर्ट तक बिजली नहीं पहुंची है, पानी नहीं पहुंचा है. There are still problems, but this SEZ is fully functional. That is why it is happening. That is why they want to give them the Karachi wala, and also as a you can say it as a test plot होगा ये, क्योंकि see this is about 3,000 something square feet, no not square feet but acres or something, which is not a very big land mass. So it will be easier for the Chinese to control this land mass as compared to complete Balochistan or Gwadar. So how Chinese will secure this? This will be a testing period. And Karachi, they are thinking they will be able to contain the insurgency because it's in Karachi. Balochistan, it will be very, very difficult for them. The BLA will not let them survive there. But in Karachi, they think they can manage it.
Major General Asghar Shah क्या बोलेंगे इसमें?
नहीं, Major General Asghar Shah नहीं. इसमें अगर आप देखोगे, they will use these TLP and all these organizations also to protect the Chinese.
अच्छा, okay.
ठीक है. सो इनको भी यूज करेंगे प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए, जमात दावा को यूज करेंगे प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए. सो दे विल हैव दोस एडिशनल जहादी रिंग्स अराउंड व्हिच विल प्रोटेक्ट देम फ्रॉम, यू नो, दे विल बी यूजिंग jihadi rings to protect their investments there. But let's see how it is going to go, because I really am skeptical ki what will happen in Karachi. Because if you remember what used to happen in Karachi and the suicide bombings Karachi has witnessed, right? So, boss, good luck to the Pakistanis thinking Karachi is going to be safe for the Chinese, or Chinese thinking they will be able to protect themselves.
भाई कराची में तो दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा माफिया बैठा है, लोग बात नहीं
Because
करते इसके अंदर. इट इज वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट माफियाज इन द वर्ल्ड बाय द वे, एंड छोटी
Karachi
बात नहीं
is
है,
the
बहुत
biggest mafia.
जबरदस्त माफिया है. Yeah.
बहुत बहुत बड़ा माफिया, पाकिस्तान का सबसे बड़ा माफिया वहीं से चलता है.
ये जितनी भी टेररिज्म की फंड रेजिंग होती है, बाय द वे लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन इन द ऑडियंस, जितनी भी टेररिज्म की फंड रेजिंग होती है ना, जितने भी टेढ़े मेढ़े काम होते हैं, ये जो गर्दनें काटनी, ये करना वो करना, ये जो चोरी चपाटी किडनैपिंग, कराची में आप वो क्या है उसका, वो टाउन कौन सा है, मॉडल टाउन है क्या, वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको,
मॉडल टाउन.
मॉडल टाउन.
मॉडल
दैट
टाउन
एरिया
कराची.
इज अन, आई मीन हमको तो छोड़ दो भाई, पाकिस्तानी नहीं जाते वहां पर.
हाँ, नहीं जाते. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू सर्वाइव देयर. दूसरा ये है कि आई थिंक दे हैव अ डील विद लश्कर तैयबा. द लश्कर विल बी प्रोटेक्टिंग देम एज वेल. द पाकिस्तानीज विल यूज लश्कर, आई एम टेलिंग यू, टू प्रोटेक्ट देमसेल्व्स. Why was Zakir Naik in Pakistan?
आपने मेंशन किया था, मैं पूछने वाला था, बताओ, व्हाई वाज ही देयर, व्हाट वाज हिज गेम?
His game was to get the Salafists all under one umbrella, prepare them, boost them. Because, see, the Salafists, the Jamaatul Dawa is the only organization which doesn't go against the Pakistan as a state, right? And which has targets everywhere painted on its borders where they want to go and do jihad. JUD is also the only organization which takes the Deobandis head on. And JUD is the only organization which tries to convert Deobandi fighters into Salafism, into Salafist fighters.
ये कैसे होता है भाई?
Okay, so Pakistan mein there is something called de-radicalization camps, which the Pakistani government used to run. Never heard of them? Surprising. Good morning.
नहीं, ये मेरे को पता है, डी रेडिकलाइजेशन कैंप्स के अंदर रेडिकलाइजेशन होती है, मुझे ये पता है. ये इनको इकट्ठा करके वहां पर उल्टे सीधे काम कराते हैं वहां पर.
नहीं. So basically you have in Pakistan, you have three kinds of militants or terror groups. One is which are anti-US, anti-India, anti-Pakistan.
Okay.
ठीक है. The other ones are like TTP, which says we are completely anti-Pakistan or anti-Muslim countries. Third are the ones who are anti-US, anti-India, but not anti-Pakistan. So what they do is the people who they find, or militant organizations or militants which they find that who are detrimental to their own national security, they put them in those de-radicalization camps, which is run by Jamaatul Dawa. JUD चलाती है उसको, लश्कर तैयबा चलाता है उसको, और वहां पर वो उनको डीरेडिकलाइज करते हैं कि टू मेक श्योर दैट दे कीप द होल सिलेबस जो जमातुल दावा का सिलेबस है, जमात शोरा का, आम का, दौरा आम जो उनका होता है. दे हैव टू कैंप्स, आम एंड खास.
आम एंड खास.
आम
होता है, खास में वो एडवांस ट्रेनिंग के लिए जाते हैं.
हाँ, एडवांस में वो खास में एडवांस है. तो ये दौरा आम का जो 21 दिन का कोर्स होता है, वही कोर्स पढ़ाते हैं कि जहाद कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है एंड एवरीथिंग. बट they essentially make sure that you take your mind off Pakistan and you start focusing somewhere else. Zakir Naik is somebody who handles, I would say not handles, but he is like a TV star nahi hota, Salafis ka, a motivational speaker. Right? He is that. ग्लोबली उसका यही काम है कि जहां पर भी सलाफीज है वहां सलाफिज्म को एक तो टाइट किया जाए, सलाफिस्ट रैंक्स को टाइट किया जाए. और पाकिस्तान में उसका आने का मतलब ही ये है कि ही वांटेड देम टू बी देयर सो दैट ही कुड गेट देम इन ऑर्डर, द हाउस इन ऑर्डर.
तो ये जो 1000 किलो लेके आया था सामान, क्या था उसमें?
क्या पता क्या था, किसको पता है. हम सरप्राइज 1000 किलो में लाया क्या है ये, मतलब ये कहीं घर लेकर तो नहीं आ गया, इसको नहीं तो ये तो नहीं बोला कि तुम पाकिस्तान में ही बैठो.
नहीं,
तुम्हारा काम है पाकिस्तान.
वापस चले गया वो.
I seriously don't know 1000 किलो में वो क्या लेकर आया था. I mean, it baffles me unless and until he carries whole kind of books with him which he wants to give away, those jihadi books.
Pakistanis read?
No, jihadi books to Pakistani read na, aur kaun padega? You think you and me will read those books?
नहीं, but Pakistani read books.
Yeah, jihadi books they all read. That is why they are so radical, because that is all they read. That is all they believe in, unless and until he was carrying that library with himself, which he wanted to, give away of those books. That is the only 1,000 pages I can understand he has. Otherwise, I don't understand. Was he carrying his whole TV satellite channel with him? I don't know. No, it's a mystery. But that is why this guy was in Pakistan.
Let me
He
put
was
this into
organizing the
perspective.
Salafis.
Let me put this into perspective. आप बोल रहे हो दो चीज. And guys, ये थोड़ा, I mean, it's a little, it may be a little difficult to understand. So थोड़ा सा हमको, we need to kind of look at this very carefully. We are talking about कि साहब कराची जाएगा, कराची में लश्कर तैयबा वाले इनको करेंगे, वहां पर इनके जो
De-radicalize. Re-radicalize is better. We will use the word re-rad.
हाँ, री-रेडिकलाइजेशन कैंप्स चलेंगे वहां पर, जहां पर ये लोग they will talk about all this stuff. Now the
वो ऑलरेडी इनके
point
चलते
that,
हैं.
हाँ,
They have
ठीक है,
been running
वो
since
I know,
2013, 2012. हाँ.
वो
They've been running
बेसिकली
for a very long time.
हाँ, वो आउटवर्ड ऑपरेशंस के लिए चलते हैं, वो बन्नू
हाँ.
चन्नू में भी चलते थे इनके, वो
हाँ,
मुझे पता है. The point that I am trying to make is, अब ये जो जिहादी हैं, they don't like China यार.
Yeah, but who's the enemy?
चाइना वहां पर पोक खाएगा, बियर पिएगा.
Who is the enemy? The Americans. Who is the bigger enemy? The Americans. So they are focused on the West, no? Who is the biggest infidel according to them? It's the Americans, it's the Western society. Who they want to wage jihad against is the Western society. It's not the Chinese. So I have a hunch that because they think that strategically this place will suit them, it will protect them, they will be able to. But I don't think so. I'm not very sure. It's going to be interesting. Because if BLA can hit them outside Karachi airport, BLA can hit them anywhere. So, game on है boss. So एक तरफ से तो ये चाइनीज को अंडर द टेबल दे रहे हैं कि नहीं रीएश्योरेंस दे रहे हैं कि रीएश्योरेंस तो नहीं मैं कहूंगा, आई विल से कि दैट चाइनीज हैव टेकन ओवर डंडे की जोर से, और जो वो डंडे की जोर से इन्होंने एससीजी लिया उसी का ये रिएक्शन जो है ये आया है कि दिस इज वेरी अनबिकमिंग ऑफ द चाइनीज. The Pakistanis are not happy. They don't want to give away an inch of their land to the Chinese, but the Chinese have forced them to do so. And that is why this reaction has come from the Pakistani foreign minister. Ministry
इसका
office.
यूएस का क्या रिएक्शन रहेगा?
The US will be very closely watching it. Till now, I would say the US would say, job well done. Because if the spat is happening publicly and the Chinese are going to put in pressure, the US will be happy. He'll be saying, good job. But the problem now is that Zardari was supposed to go to China on 7th. He was there to present this, the report card of Pakistanis on security and how they want to protect and all that. Zardari साहब का दुबई में हो गया फ्रैक्चर. वो कहते हैं वो जहाज से उतर रहे थे, उतरते उतरते पैर टूट गया और वो जाके घर बैठ गए. जरदारी बैठ गया घर पे. शहबाज शरीफ घूम रहा है सऊदी में, टर्की में. नवाज शरीफ घूम रहा है लंदन में और क्या कहते हैं इसको यूएस में. ये बचा रहे हैं सारी अपनी कुर्सी. Because the regime change in Pakistan will happen. You can't see out of box तो नहीं हम देख सकते ना. मतलब it's not out of context or in isolation that 62 US members all of a sudden got up and started writing to the Congress saying that Imran Khan को क्या हो रहा है. And mind you, ये वही US है जिसने इमरान खान को बाय बाय किया था. They were not happy with him the way he was dealing with the Chinese. Suddenly they are all talking about Imran Khan. 9th को पाकिस्तान में गुंडापुर has called for protests. And he has said कि we have, non-violently we have done enough. Let us get ready this time to sacrifice our lives. So this is the final push he's calling for.
आप अभी प्रो प्रो एस्टैब्लिशमेंट लोगों को सुनो, आई वाज रीडिंग समथिंग बिफोर दिस कि यार दे आर सेइंग कि साहब ये दिस इज ऑल पार्ट ऑफ अ प्लान, गंडापुर के साथ ऑलरेडी सेटिंग हो चुकी है, ठीक है, एंड गंडापुर के बोला गया है कि बेटा तू जाके जो मर्जी थोड़ा सा उछल कूद कोई बात नहीं, बट इस लिमिट के आगे मत जाना। एंड इमरान खान को गंडापुर के साथ, बुशरा बीवी के साथ एंड उसकी वो बहन है उसके साथ मतलब सेट किया है कि यार तुम जाके इसके साथ बात करो, इसको थोड़ा ठंडा ठंडा करो, कर क्या रहा है ये? अगर ये ठंडा होता है तो हम कुछ बात करेंगे आगे, बट अदरवाइज गड़बड़ होने वाली है। सो हाउ
देखो
ये हाँ
बैक चैनल पे तो चल रहा है, क्योंकि देखो इमरान खान की बीवी रिलीज हो गई, इमरान खान की बहनें रिलीज हो गई। अच्छा, कल बड़ी इसमें क्या कहते हैं, बड़ा ड्रामेटिकली इमरान खान का लॉयर भी मिल गया इनको, वो किडनैप हो गया हुआ था अकॉर्डिंग टू द स्टोरीज की, उसका 2 करोड़ की फिरौती थी, मगर उसका लगा तो नहीं देख के कि मुझे वो किडनैप हुआ, तो लगा था मार खा कर आया, उसके गाल इतने लाल
बहुत
थे,
बुरी तरह, हाँ
है ना। सो
कपड़े फटे हुए थे उसके।
हाँ, तो उसको भी इन्होंने छोड़ दिया, राइट। दैट मीन्स ऑन द बैक समथिंग इज हैपनिंग. There is enough pressure from the US. The US Americans are putting a lot of pressure on the Pakistanis, which Pakistanis are not able to sustain. Asim Munir is crumbling. He's not able to sustain this pressure. Now,
तो भी होगा
Gundapur.
क्या? Let's war game this.
Okay, let's war game this. 9th को उसने protest की call दी है, right? He will come out again. If he comes out again, maybe उससे पहले वो बोले नहीं हम इमरान खान को छोड़ रहे हैं, और मे बी ये बोलें कि ठीक है जी आने दो इनको बाहर. They will again stage that drama. बट इसमें एक प्रॉब्लम है, ये जो बार बार पीटीआई बाहर आ रही है ना, देयर इज अ ट्रिगर इनटू इट. कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि ये गुंडापुर से हाईजैक करके कोई और ले जाए और वो इसको किसी और लॉजिकल स्टेप पे ले जाए. जहाँ पीपल टेक दिस कॉल लिटरली एंड मार्च डाउन, लाइक जब लास्ट टाइम हमने इनको देखा था वो फरवरी 8 को AK-47 लेकर घूम रहे थे कई जगह पर. कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि लोग सड़कों में बंदूकें लेकर घूम रहे हैं. दैट इज द वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो व्हिच कैन हैपन. द बेस्ट केस सिनेरियो इज अगेन ही विल कम आउट विद सो मेनी पीपल एंड बैक टॉक. मगर मुझे जहां तक लग रहा है, क्योंकि बैक चैनलिंग चल रही है, he will again stage a drama. But with Pakistan, you never know. I cannot be sure this time. I have a hunch somebody will sabotage it from him and take it somewhere else. अगर वो होता है, then Pakistan is in trouble. Or maybe the establishment would have said, "Ki you come out in such a force that we are able to dislodge Shahbaz and Nawaz both." In that case, Bilawal Bhutto gets what he wants. Fazlur Rahman gets what he wants. Imran Khan will come out. Imran Khan will support both of them. He will not support Bhutto. He will support Maulana. Because Maulana और उसकी बहुत close चल रही है. Maulana is backing up like anything. It's मौलाना की वजह से बीवी छुटी है, मौलाना की वजह से बहनें छुटी हैं.
हाँ, बिकॉज मौलाना ने पूरी नेगोशिएशन करी है ना कि भाई मैं तुम्हारा बिल नहीं साइन करूंगा अदरवाइज.
हाँ, तो मौलाना ने इमरान पे क्यों की है? Why has मौलाना, when Imran is his ally, मतलब not ally, sorry, is his rival,
his enemy, क्योंकि मौलाना is very close to, मौलाना बहुत क्लोज है अमेरिकन का, ये लोगों को समझ में नहीं आता.
एंड मौलाना के पार्टी के अंदर भी लोगों ने ये बोला कि आप पीटीआई के लिए इतना कर रहे हो, ये तो हमारा राइवल है, तो आप इसके लिए क्यों इतना कर रहे हो, हमको खराब करेगा. बट मौलाना इज नॉट बजिंग, सो दैट टेल्स यू द अमेरिकन्स आर इन कंट्रोल.
हाँ, मौलाना बहुत क्लोज है अमेरिकन का, ये पाकिस्तानियों को खुद नहीं समझ में आता. बिकॉज इफ यू रिमेम्बर, ये अफगानिस्तान में मौलाना, जब ये अफगानिस्तान से ये बंदे भागते थे इस तरफ, मौलाना की पार्टी यूज्ड टू गिव इंफॉर्मेशन टू द अमेरिकन्स कि ये यहाँ बैठा है, इसको मारो यहाँ पर. ये जो ड्रोन स्ट्राइक्स होती थी उसकी ग्राउंड इनपुट तो इसकी पार्टी देती थी,
JOF देती थी. सो मौलाना इज वेरी वेरी सेंट्रल राइट नाउ. और ISKP इसके तभी इसके बंदूक के पीछे पड़ा था लास्ट टाइम. दैट इज व्हाई दे वर बॉम्ब्ड इन खैबर पख्तूनख्वा व्हेन इलेक्शंस वर हैपनिंग.
यार ये तो साली खिचड़ी बन रही है यार.
ये खिचड़ी उबल रही है, पक रही है.
पाकिस्तानियों के दिमाग में बिरयानी है, हम खिचड़ी खिला रहे हैं.
वो बिरयानी सोचते हैं बेचारे, उन क्या करेंगे. उनको आजकल खिचड़ी बिरयानी दिखती है, वो उनके हालात ही वैसे हो गए हैं. अब किसी को कच्चे में इतने छेद कर दोगे, फिर उसको सड़क पे नंगा करके छोड़ दोगे, उसको खिचड़ी भी बिरयानी दिखेगी ना, उतनी मजे से खाएगा वो.
पुराने जमाने में एक जोक होता था, मेरे डैड मेरे को ये जोक बताते थे। एक बंदा खाली थाली लेके बैठा है, आंख बंद करके ना ऐसे करके खा रहा है। तो किसी ने बोला,
कि
बेबू
मैं
क्या कर रहा है?
खिचड़ी का
कह रहा, मैं सोच रहा हूँ ये चिकन है, ये पनीर है, ये मटन है। कहता, साले क्या
इनका
कर
भी
रहा
वही
है?
हाल है,
इनका भी
इनका
वही
भी
हाल
वही
है।
हाल है, इनका भी वही हाल है।
बट इफ यू
पाकिस
सी दिस,
हम्म
नाउ यहाँ पर द द द डील विद, अभी आपने बताया जैसे उसका पैर टूट गया, वो जाने वाला था, क्या नाम है आपका?
वो जाके घर बैठ गया, उसे कहा मैं
वो
अगले
जाके घर
महीने
बैठ गया,
जाऊंगा।
ठीक है। अभी नवाज शरीफ बैठा है वहां पर, इधर पे, अमेरिका में, ठीक है।
हम्म
वो क्या करने गया है वहां पर?
कुर्सी बचाने। He is basically gone to find out what scope he has to stay in power. देखो, पाकिस्तानी आर्मी हैज बॉट अ थिंक टैंक फॉर 1.5 मिलियन डॉलर्स की उनकी इमेज ठीक करे, राइट? इतना
हाँ,
पैसा इनके पास है। They have realized that Imran was able to do all this because he was funding about 50, 40, $50,000 to some think tank which was doing his work in US.
हम्म,
Nawaz is gone to tell the Americans that he's in a position to call the shots in Pakistan, which he's not.
विच इज नॉट। ये ना,
He's
ये
not.
नवाज शरीफ हमारे भी जाके फंस जाते हैं, नवाज शरीफ के साथ जाके अमन की आशा करके आ जाते हैं।
That is why when that journalist asked him that question, कि you were supposed to become the prime minister, what happened? He said US जाने से पहले सवाल मत पूछो यार। ठीक है, so he basically wanted to go and convince the Americans that he and his brother are in power and they can call the shots and they have the control. The
हम्म,
Americans were not satisfied with him because one, he was too soft on the Chinese, he was too soft on everything else, and he was not delivering to the Americans as the way Americans wanted them to deliver. Then again, the Chinese are also not happy because Munir couldn't deliver on the Chinese promises. The operations he launched and counter-terrorism जो उन्होंने बात की थी, it all fell flat. And now they think that a radical Islamist government in Pakistan is much more suited to the American needs than a soft, power which is in Pakistan right now.
हम्म।
क्योंकि
that
टीटीपी
that
के साथ भी कुछ कर नहीं पाए.
that brings up so many questions.
Honestly, yaar, in geopolitics, everything happens on a long term. Changes are stable. You can predict them. पर ये एक ऐसा मुल्क है जहां रात में ऊपर से नीचे हो जाता है. It is such an unstable country that the dynamics change very quickly in Pakistan, and that is not a very good sign for a country, and that is not a very good sign for us, because the way dynamics are changing in Pakistan, it's not good. It's not good.
क्योंकि आई मीन द थिंग दैट मेरे को जो दिखता है, एंड जिस पे आई एम नॉट वरीड अबाउट इट ऑनेस्टली, मैं थोड़ा आई हैव बीन थिंकिंग अबाउट दिस क्वाइट अ बिट। अमेरिकन्स को जो चाहिए वो पूरा पाकिस्तान तो नहीं चाहिए, दिस वी काइंड ऑफ डिस्कस्ड। इनको
They don't
बलूचिस्तान
need
चाहिए,
Pakistan. They
ठीक है।
don't need Pakistan. They need Pakistan for their own nuisance. They can create nuisance with China. They can create nuisance with India. They can create Pakistan as a nuisance value.
हाँ,
But
तो
Pakistanis have to deliver that nuisance value, na? The Pakistanis are not delivering nuisance value neither to the Chinese nor to the Americans. On the contrary, all the nuisance value is happening in Pakistan. When was the last time Pakistan was so unstable? Politically, security, economically, इतना unstable तो कभी नहीं था जितना instability इस बार है. So what do you do?
when you see now, if you let's look at अमेरिका एंड चाइना, ठीक है, यहाँ पर देखते हैं अमेरिका का प्लान बी क्या हो सकता है?
Plan B is Myanmar.
But that is going out of hand. वो तो चल नहीं रहा उनसे. Bangladesh is short to shit.
अभी तो
Not
शुरू
gonna
हुआ
happen.
है ना, वो अभी तो शुरू हुआ है, अभी तो खत्म नहीं होगा, अभी तो शुरू होने वाला है, अभी तो बिसात बिछ रही है वहां पर, राइट? That region is just starting. You remember? Did you see that Mizoram CM's
हाँ.
speech?
यार,
Right?
you know,
That's indicative of what they are up to. No, that is
भाई,
telling you what they are up to.
नहीं, वो है that Zoland and all that nonsense is there, and trust me, I've been talking about it for 2 years now. The point is with that guy has been a separatist. ठीक है, वो
I know
शुरू
that.
से separatist है. वो उसके आप पुराने statements देखो, वो ऐसी बात करता है.
I know
It's
that.
not that this thing, and he's been supported by the church for a long time.
Boss,
ठीक
you
है.
have no idea. The Americans might be showing you this thing. They might be investing in the Rohingyas.
Yeah. Who do you think
Right.
are behind the Rohingya issue? Rohingya का
Yeah.
पूरा issue किसने create किया था? CIA का
Yeah.
काम है वो.
So that is where the thing is going to start. अभी
Right.
वहाँ बिसात बिछ रही है, अभी it's getting ready.
हाँ, तो ये एक झड़प आएगा. This will be there. That's not a problem. And उसका यहाँ पे भी preps चल रही हैं काफी. There's a lot which is happening at the back end. If you notice, जिस तरह के वहाँ पर see what they're doing is there's a lot of drugs which are getting accumulated in that area. And if you notice in the past 2 weeks, the kind of drug bust which is actually happening there, and जो एक वहाँ पर चीजें हो रही है धबाधब. I mean, it's backs are getting broken there. So obviously something is come now. Government is not going to come out and say something कि भाई हमको ये पता चला, हम ये कर रहे हैं. वो तो बोलेंगे नहीं. Whatever is happening is happening.
It's also very premature for them to come out and say anything as of now.
Yeah. It won't happen right now. And
But
दूसरा
be
है, if you one needs to be careful. There's no question about it, यार. Because अब ये देखो यार, you're taking पंगास with the गहरा राज्य. It's the deep state you fucked around. I mean, sorry to use the word, the deep state that you screwed around with. Nothing small thing. Huh? It's a bloody big thing. You've picked up a panga with the biggest power in the world.
So they have a game plan for Iran.
Yeah. And if
they have a game plan
we
for
are
us.
so weak-hearted कि भाई अब तो हो उसने ये कर दिया तो हम मर जाएंगे. Which I can feel. I can see. नहीं, आपको नहीं बोल रहा मैं. I'm just saying, generally speaking, मैं जिस तरह के कमेंट देख रहा हूँ, ओए अब तो क्या, अब तो गए कुछ नहीं है.
They've been doing this year. They've done far more worse things in between 90s and between 1990s and 2000s. So when we could endure that and come out of that, we can come out of this also. The relationship is much stabler as compared to the 90s. जो हमारे US-India relationships थे.
अरे भाई,
US was so hostile towards us.
90s में North East में क्या हो रहा था?
मैं वही कह रहा हूँ. As compared to the relationship then, now we have much better relationship with the Americans. But look, a superpower plays that game, and you have to adjust to that game. So that's fine.
You have to play it. You have to play the game.
So the American plan B is very, very simple. The American plan B is 1, Myanmar. They're going to engage the Chinese. 2, keep Pakistanis so squeezed up, because the day Pakistanis do something, use the Afghan leverage onto the Pakistanis and unleash havoc in Pakistan. And the Pakistanis have realized that कि उनके बस की नहीं है. Till they prepare their jihadi forces against KPK, against Afghans and all that, they will have to abide to the Pakistanis, so to the Americans. So that is the problem. So they are trying to defang the TTP basically. And they think JUD is the only organization which can do it for them.
इसका अभी चाइनीज का प्लान भी क्या हो सकता है?
Again, same. जो Americans का plan B है.
I don't see any plan B honestly for China.
No, why not? Why don't you see a plan B? It's the same plan B what the Americans have. They have also invested into Afghan Taliban. They are also using them. They are also having good time with them. They are also forging partnerships with them with the same hope the Americans have. So you remember I told you last year Pakistan will become new Afghanistan and Afghanistan will become new Pakistan. That is exactly what is happening now.
Yeah.
So that is what is happening. They both have plan Bs.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, this is
हाँ
going to be really, really interesting. And if America and China दोनों इसमें बीच में फंसते हैं, this is going to be so much fun to watch. It's not
हाँ
funny.
तो that is why you have Haqqanis on one side who is trying to get prominence because the US wants to prop him up as their man, give him, and then you have Akhundzada on the other side, which is not very pro US.
Uh-huh.
He is leaning towards the Chinese. So even in Taliban, the Taliban is playing both the countries very well. So the Afghans are playing their game. That is what is happening.
Last question before we get into audience questions. काफी सारे हैं. There are loads and loads of questions which are coming in. Now, it's a little twisted सवाल, huh? So just bear with me if you don't mind. Imran Khan, let's say he comes out. Let's say, ठीक है. Let's kind of, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, war game करते हैं. He comes out, उसको बाहर निकाल लेते हैं, और somewhere down the line, the Chinese would want Imran Khan outside rather than the Americans. ठीक है.
That should be the perception, but that is not happening.
That is not the correct thing. It's now the opposite. So Americans threw Imran Khan out, लेकिन they want him back, but the Chinese don't want him back because Chinese का CPEC खराब करता है वो. That's the reality.
Chinese would not mind because Imran is mercurial, no?
हाँ, पैसे खिलाओ, लड़की दे दो, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. ठीक है.
मतलब उसका भरोसा नहीं है. वो अमेरिकन्स को गाली निकालेगा और चाइनीज को बोलेगा तुम मेरे दोस्त हो. With Imran, you don't know. उसको वो like शबरजादी says very nicely ना, ये सादा इंसान है बेचारा, कुछ भी बोलो तो इसके दिमाग में बैठ जाता. सादा इंसान है.
सादा इंसान है.
That's what he says.
What's the Imran Khan twist in this entire game? Because अगर आप देखो,
the plan with Imran, हाँ, आप बोलो.
Imran is close to the Pashtuns, ठीक है ना? So will Imran be used to control the Pashtuns?
So that is what exactly they are thinking. That see that there is a lot of talk. Maulana is stuck on one thing. That election नहीं जल्दी से जल्दी कराओ. ये government जो है ये illegal है. There should be fresh elections in the country. The deal is that if Imran comes out, they might push for new elections in Pakistan. In that case, they will ask Imran to prove your power. If you become the prime minister, fine, but establishment will keep him away. There will be a coalition between JUIF and PTI, and half will be there. फिर देखते हैं क्या होगा. PPP will also be a part of them only. ठीक है, so they will be going against PMNL. They are coming out with a hope. One, Imran will be able to rein in the KP. He will be able to negotiate some sort of softness with Afghan Taliban. But he will be overtly running the American agenda. The Maulana will assure, or the Maulana will, what do you call it? Ensure, basically is the right word. Maulana will ensure that the American agenda is supreme. The Chinese agenda is not followed up. So Imran might play the second fiddle. But Imran Khan being Imran Khan, he might agree to a second fiddle, but once he comes on the pitch, we know who takes the star.
Well, that's the thing. That's the point.
So Imran is mercurial. Okay, so you cannot say with a certainty that he will play the second fiddle. He might be sent to anchor the innings, but he will end up taking over the innings. Because that is the personality of the man. But in that case, he will get assassinated this time.
Yeah, they shoot him. That's what if that happens, Pakistan is done.
So if that, if he does something like that, they will assassinate him, exactly what they did with Bhutto. They'll do the same with him.
So you're still stuck on 22nd November कि थोड़ा सा extend करना है?
No. I'm still stuck plus minus 1 week. The final countdown starts there. It's already happening, यार. इससे ज़्यादा क्या होगा? You don't have to see blood to, you don't have to see blood. You have to see the major events which are happening around.
Yeah,
it's already rolling.
Pakistan, for whatever said and done, how much ever I hate Pakistan, one thing I can tell you about Pakistan, the bloody thing is resilient.
No, वही कह रहा हूँ ना. They are very resilient. But look, all the major changes have already started happening. The SEZ is gone. The Chinese have taken. ठीक है. Imran is already making a deal. IMF loan is again stuck. It will all climax by 22nd November. I am bang on my prediction, boss. My things are going exactly like I said they will be going.
Fantastic, guys. This was
Who would have
हाँ,
thought that they will concede to the Chinese so quickly?
I know. I mean,
Happened, no? हो रहा है ना बॉस? बोला ना आपको होगा. अब देखो क्या क्या होगा. Sorry, camera.
fantastic. This was fun. So, guys, let's get into your questions. जरा जबरदस्त सारे सवाल हैं आपके, तो let's get into them. And but before that, मेरा request to everybody, यार 887 likes not happening यार. आप लोग ना आज क्या सब लोग दिवाली के बाद थक गए हो क्या? उंगली चलाओ, लाइक दबाओ.
बोर हो गए सर.
उंगली चलाओ, लाइक दबाओ. ये होना चाहिए. डेफ टॉक्स बाय आदि का वो जो नीचे बायलाइन होती है ना, उंगली चलाओ, लाइक दबाओ. ठीक है. सो प्लीज हिट द लाइक बटन, सब्सक्राइब टू द चैनल, एंड ऑफ कोर्स यस, मैं सबसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, शेयर दिस with your friends and families. There's a lot happening geopolitically जिसके बारे में हमको बात करनी है. For example, Mizoram, I will talk to someone. मैं खुद भी रिसर्च कर रहा हूँ. There is a Lieutenant General Nishikant Singh. I am sure you guys have heard. He's one of the most authoritative voice in the Northeast in India. तो उनके साथ बात हुई आज शाम को. He will talk about it, and don't worry about it. इतना कुछ नहीं है. Don't get so over hyper because that's what they want. ये एक narrative चलाना चाहते हैं, आपको over hyper करके थोड़ा सा divert करना चाहते हैं. That's what
Relax.
ठीक है ना. So chill out. These things will continue happening because you're fighting one of the biggest powers in the world, which is the deep state. Please relax. Okay.
And they are lighting the fire. They're lighting the fire because they know they're gonna lose. So they want Trump to do damage, damage control rather than. So sorry, it's a bit loud.
No problem.
They are doing it for Trump, so he considerable time goes into firefighting. Right. That is why. Even somebody is also messaging me. Thomas is saying, please talk about Cookie Land, but I would, that is a podcast in its own. Can't take a fleeting question like
we will bloody देखो साहब ऐसा है. कुकी ये जो डीप स्टेट का गेम हम लोग कितने टाइम से खेल रहे हैं, and we guys have been bloody beating the shit out of it every time. And trust you me, we will beat the shit out of this today.
They are deliberately doing this because they know if they lose power, if they come back, they know they can fix it very quickly if they want to, and if they lose power, they're going to leave problems for Trump.
Yeah.
So nothing new in this. That's how the Democrats have always, they light the fires and they run away. That tells you that they might be going out of power. They have realized they are not going to come back.
अरे सर, मैं वही सबको बोल रहा था. मेरा डे बिफोर यस्टरडे का दोपहर का शो देखो, जिस तरह मैं आपको बता रहा था how desperate the deep state is today. Okay, please watch that show.
I'm still very skeptical of Trump winning. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like him either. I don't like him either.
Not either. I don't think these fraudias will let him win. It's a sham election, yeah.
By either ways, what I am looking at is America is going to be busy in the next some time.
The Americans are going to have their own headache.
That's what I'm looking
They are going to have their own headache in Middle East.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I'm looking for. ठीक है. So guys, please like, subscribe, and of course yes, आप लोग इस चैनल की तरफ contribute कर सकते हैं. QR code, PayPal या फिर super sticker, super chats के साथ. Also, you can also become members of the channel. All right, let's see. Jiten Advani ji and Vijay Mishra ji, thank you so much for becoming members. All right, let's get into super chats. Osho Saab, thank you so much. Says US British funded something in Rwanda in 93-95. Can we fund the same in Pakistan? Score must be 5 crores plus.
No, we can't.
No.
That is one of the worst genocides which happened in the world.
Yeah.
7 lakh people died in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No, we can't.
I mean, we should not even think about stuff like this.
Yeah.
Remember, the Americans have. Anyways, Ashoka ruled Kandahar via Hindu mental slave of Pashtun Pathan Taliban. I don't know.
And who told you that? I don't know where you're getting this from. Honestly, that is a very cynical view of looking at things. Please come out of this cynic view. Whatever you are just a disgrace to yourself.
Cynic. And trust us, the kind of relationship that the Pashtuns and the Hindus have had over the years, it's not even funny.
They don't
ठीक
know
है?
how the Pashtun cultural milieu works. No, उनको पता नहीं है. तो पढ़ा
अकल
लिखा
नहीं
है
है
नहीं,
लोगों
पता
को।
कुछ है नहीं, but comment करना बहुत जरूरी है. China
चंद्रशेखर साहब,
population is vanishing, 2,000 families
vanishing.
per day. See, the Chinese are declining. The Chinese economy is in decline. The China has now started. There was a time when Chinese used to say one child and we'll pay. Now the Chinese are bringing a scheme that you have more than one child and we'll pay you. So yes, the Chinese have a population growth problem. We know that, and China will stop in next 10, 15 years. They will be reaching a stagnation point. But yeah, till that time happens, we are cognizant of that fact, and we should take advantage of it. And in fact, we are taking advantage of that thing already.
One of the reasons that you've done this deal with
This
the Chinese
20
is because you know.
no, no, and second thing is 2047 slogan is in right because we know where China would be that time. The stagnation in China and the opportunities for us.
Yeah. Yogesh Rathod ji, thank you. I will speak about Mizoram. Don't worry about it. Relax. ओशो साहब यार छोड़ दो. आई डोंट लाइक टू कमेंट ऑन इंडिविजुअल्स यार, बट इन एनी केस हमको डी रेडिकलाइज करना चाहिए. टेम्पल इकोनॉमिक्स, देखो यार, डी रेडिकलाइजेशन का किसी के पास फॉर्मूला है? मैं हाथ जोड़ के विनती करता हूँ, साहब दे दो. हम लोग अपने शो से दिन रात सुबह शाम 24 घंटे की स्ट्रीम बना के मैं डालूंगा. 24 hours आई विल बी अवेक एंड आई विल टॉक अबाउट इट. ठीक है? इफ एनीबॉडी हैज दैट फॉर्मूला,
I'll send you some. I'll contribute a little bit to it.
मतलब 24 घंटे उठना पड़ेगा. शिट.
I got an opportunity to keep you busy.
Yeah, remember, yeah, ideologies. I'll just add to this. You know, the Nazism in Germany, okay, and I've studied the Second World War very closely. The Nazism in Germany was basically a 5-6 year sort of a game. 4-5 साल का था. You know, even today, that Hitlerian Nazism has not gone out of Germany. आज तक वैसे के वैसे ही हैं. ठीक है? And as a matter of fact, अगर आप documentaries देखें, there are towns and villages in Argentina in the Andes where
Which
this kind of stuff is still awake. It's still
no,
there.
even in
There are-
US,
हाँ,
there are pockets
yeah.
in US.
नहीं, वो तो American Nazism है साहब. ये I'm talking about the
हाँ.
pure bred
German
German
Nazism.
one, which is
हाँ,
there.
मैं वही कह रहा हूँ, वो तो है. There are
So
still pockets in the world.
yeah, so
Let's
you know,
talk about that.
ideologies को मारना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. ठीक है? It
It's
is
not
very
that easy.
yeah.
Trust
So
me, it's
you
not
know,
that easy.
you're going to be stuck with this for a long time, right? It's not something that is going to go away. Having said that, radicalization के 40 से 50 साल के cycles होते हैं, right? Abhi it is coming to the end of this kind of radicalization. So there's going to be a new style which is going to emerge in the next about 5-10 years.
That is
You
already
will
there. I can already see it.
yeah, so you will find this becoming a little more mainstream. ये जो by the way, the Hamas attack which is there, this is the new kind of radicalization attacks you will see, right? It is going to be up close, personal, dirty, terrible stuff.
But not.
Yeah, so that's the new style. It's not going to be ding 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 ding. It's going to be, you know,
it's gonna be messy.
It's going to be
Dirty,
very
messy.
messy. So ये cycles होते हैं. हर 40 साल में radicalization का cycle change होता है. ठीक है? So this is something that we need to understand. There's a lot of stuff which is actually happening there. अच्छा, by the way, guys, I had put in a poll. CPEC अंतिम सांस ले रहा है कि CPEC का नमाज जनाजा पढ़ने का वक्त हो गया है. Courtesy Shankar साहब who had given me this thing, out of which 59% says अंतिम सांस and 41% से खत्म हो गया है.
मैं अंतिम सांस ही बोलूंगा मैं इसको. खत्म अभी नहीं हुआ.
I would say अंतिम सांस as well, but guys, your votes are better, so please जरा ठोको. We are at 50-50 right now यार. 59-41 is barely a this thing. तो थोड़ा सा you know अपने polls डालिए ताकि we can also get an idea. All right, Kapil Javeri Saab says Major Arya's podcast and Chanakya Dialogues today. China claims Vladivostok port as its own. North Korea sent 10,000 troops to Russia, thereby going against China. What's cooking there?
Okay, as far as the troops are there, we don't know if the number is 10,000. They did send something for exercising, but there are videos which there are videos which have come out that these Koreans have taken dog meat to the front lines and the Russians are very unhappy about it. So I think that is something which is cooking there. One,
Yeah.
the Chinese are not going to be happy because the Chinese wanted to be the sole Maibab of the Koreans and negotiate for the Russians on behalf of the Koreans. Right? The Chinese wanted to play the daddy there, but the Russians have up-tricked them and directly done a deal with the North Koreans. So that is why the Chinese are not very, very happy about it. So the Chinese could be claiming that port, but I'm not really sure. I'll have to go and study that before I can make a comment on that port. I really don't know about it. I'll have to check it out.
You know, the most uncomfortable border in the world is the Yalu River border between China and North Korea. They hate each other. Okay? They hate each other. Terribly hate each other. As a matter of fact, Chinese ने कोरियंस को बड़ा क्लियरली एक चीज बोली हुई है, देखो भाई ऐसा है, अगर तुमने किसी से पंगा लिया तो हम तुम्हारे को ठोक देंगे पीछे से आके, लेकिन किसी ने तुम्हारी पर अटैक करा, हम तुम्हारी उसके बाद मदद करेंगे.
It's like the Americans used to do.
Whereas the Russians, on the other hand, literally run North Korea. ठीक है, as a bulwark against China and as a bulwark against the Americans as well. ठीक है, ये एक चीज है. As far as the Vladivostok is concerned, देखिए, if you read the Chinese dictums about the 6 wars of China, ठीक है, the 6 wars of China start with Taiwan, then it goes to the Doiku Islands, which is basically the Senkakus and all that, जो Japan वाला है. The third war is South Tibet. The fourth war is basically Mongolia. The fifth war is the surrounding regions, and the sixth and the last war is with Russia. Okay, so the Chinese state is very clearly, nobody has any doubts about it. ये चीज बड़ा ध्यान से सुनिएगा. रशियंस को भी पता है ये चीज, एंड अगर आप याद करें, 1-1.5 साल पहले चाइनीज ने एक मैप निकाला था, जब मैंने चाइनीज की मैप मेकिंग शुरू करी थी. उसके अंदर असूरी रिवर का वो आइलैंड इन लोगों ने अपने अपने पास दे दिया था. तो रशियंस ने बड़े आराम से एक चीज करी. दे लीक द पेपर, बाय द वे, फ्रॉम द रशियन डिफेंस मिनिस्ट्री. वन पेपर एक्सीडेंटली गॉट लीक्ड व्हिच सेड कि साहब, आप अगर हमारी टेरिटरी पे घुसे, द लीस्ट वी विल डू इज न्यूक द शिट आउट ऑफ यू. Simple. They didn't talk about armed resistance. They didn't talk about we will fight you, we will do this, we will do that.
No. Even if you remember, the Russians and the Chinese clashed many times on the point. Right? They have already clashed on that area. Yeah. And the Chinese literally gave a beating to the Chinese that time. The Russians literally gave them a beating in that area. Right? So don't worry.
Sir, the true story of that war is the Russian ने इतने artillery fire करे थे, इतनी artillery fire करे थी, that the Asuri river changed course.
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि Russians gave them a very bad beating in that area to the Chinese that time. So always remember that, despite their communism, there are deep flaws and deep fractures between Russia and China. They both compete with each other. And Putin thinks that with the Middle East, what is happening in the Middle East, if he becomes the central player and if he is able to do what he's able to do in Middle East, he will be able to reverse that from the Chinese. Yeah. And that is why he wants Americans to focus on China as number one enemy and not on Russia as number one enemy.
Which gives him time. मैं जैसे बता रहा था, रिवर चेंज कोर्स, इतनी आर्टिलरी फायर करी थी इन लोगों ने चाइनीज के ऊपर. कोई 8-10 हजार चाइनीज तो मारे थे, लेकिन वो जो नदी, दैट थिंग ब्लडी चेंज कोर्स यार इन दिस थिंग. इतनी आर्टिलरी फायर करी थी इन लोगों ने, बिकॉज दे ब्लडी डग होल्स ऑल ओवर द प्लेस. तो चाइनीज जा ही नहीं सके आगे. तो द रशियंस हेट द चाइनीज. लेट मी जस्ट से दैट. एंड बाय द वे, द सेम एज चाइनीज का एक गेम होता है व्हिच दे कॉल देमसेल्व्स एज द मिडिल किंगडम, एंड उनके कंसेंट्रिक सर्कल्स बनते हैं किंगडम के आसपास. देयर आर कंसेंट्रिक सर्कल्स लाइक दिस. सो जो मिडिल किंगडम, उनका जो एक्चुअल हान चाइना है, वहां से जो कंसेंट्रिक सर्कल्स, जो फर्स्ट वाले सर्कल्स होते हैं, दोज आर द कॉलोनाइज्ड प्लेसेस. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जांपल टिबेट, मंगोलिया, मंचूरिया, नीचे यूनान, योर सिंगजांग, दीज आर ऑल कॉलोनाइज्ड प्लेसेस. द नेक्स्ट सर्कल्स आर कॉल्ड बारबेरियंस. ठीक है, सो यू एंड आई आर बेसिकली बारबेरियंस. Guess the word meaning that the Chinese call the Russians.
Aliens, I suppose.
No, the old bearded ugly man.
Nice.
ठीक है. I've read a lot about China. मेरा favorite subject है China. I get very passionate every time I talk about China, but Okay, Librandus ka baap. Sir, Strava has been tracking data from IAF technical area. IAF and Navy have done similar deals with Make My Trip, Zepto now, airlines, hotels. Most of them use clouds like Azure. देखिए यार ऐसा है, there are 2-3 things you must understand. Firstly, technical areas के अंदर you are not allowed to take anything. That tracking data I have seen, it is in the personal areas, not in the technical areas. Secondly, IAF people, Navy people, they're also human beings. ठीक है, they have needs to transport and they have needs to go around here and there. Okay. Thirdly, please understand, I absolutely accept the factor that there is a problem as far as the data is concerned. There is no question about it. Having said that, let's not discount the forces to be that stupid कि उन्होंने ये चीजें चेक नहीं करी होंगी. ठीक है, तो
True.
लेट्स नॉट बीट अराउंड द बुश. शादी है, आई एम सॉरी दिवाली है, आई एम श्योर द आर्म फोर्सेस विल कम आउट एंड गिव देयर रीजनिंग्स एंड गिव देयर आंसर्स. तीसरा चीज, आई हैव ऑलरेडी स्पोकन टू समवन हु इज अ डेटा एक्सपर्ट who will come on the channel and help us understand the vulnerabilities that these things have. Okay.
Fantastic. That
So-
is the right way to go about it. To talk to an expert who knows about these things.
ठीक
That's
है,
very important.
कर्नल पवित्रन है, he is one of the best in the business. ठीक है, he's one of the best in the business. Let me assure you this. And let's not beat around the bush and give expert opinions as far as when we don't know about a subject. So I refrain from answering this, but when I looked at that data, जो ये screenshots इधर उधर घूम रहे हैं, they are personal areas which are family living areas. Now family living areas में मेरे जैसे लोग भी रहते थे जब हम मेरे फादर एयरफोर्स में थे. यार अब बच्चे रहते हैं वहां पर, वाइफ्स रहती हैं, उनके पास स्मार्टफोन्स होते हैं.
No, the
Either
concern
you-
is genuine. The concern is genuine. Let's see what the vulnerabilities are, and let's see how they are addressing it. I'm pretty sure they must be addressing it. यार ऐसा नहीं होगा ना कि address ही नहीं किया होगा.
यार कोई इतना
ऐसा हो नहीं
सोचते हैं
सकता.
ये लोग भी. They also
हाँ.
think, they also know what needs to be done, how needs to be done, and this and that. Fair enough.
Exactly.
But
So this,
let me say that concerns को डालना आगे, it is our right, it is our responsibility. Right? So please,
that is also
please,
important.
yeah.
Concerns.
All
will
right.
be there.
Obey, sobe. Raja, thank you so much. Firstly, Raja, you're awesome. Adi, excellent work, especially Raja, brother. Dum hai, bet zyada dum hai. Bro, stay strong. Keep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, Ruthvij Saab, dollar can be, thank you so much. Firstly, dollar can be changed by BRICS Endowment Bank, some kind of military union like NATO integration of Russia, India, China, UAE, Saudi, Iran,
No,
Southeast Asia
No.
economies.
no, it's not happening. See, you have to understand there are too many faults. Like, first of all, let me clear this here. The Saudis are not interested. The Saudi king, MBS, stayed away from it and he just sent a foreign minister. The Saudis are not changing petrodollars for anything else, right? You have to understand. Second, also, please understand that till for BRICS to be where it is or to become that kind of a role, you are essentially talking about China and India going to have very, very strong alliances. The problem is that is not going to happen, right? Third, please understand two of the biggest countries in this BRICS are the communist countries, which absolutely hate democracies and don't believe in democracy. Right. So you have to be very careful. You have to look at it from a very holistic approach, not from a very emotional approach. It's not happening. Look, de-dollarization is going to happen in the next 30, 40 years. What that role is going to be, what is going to change the currency is going to depend on a lot of geopolitical changes which happen in the world. You also
सबसे
have to
request
see.
करूंगा,
Right?
आज दोपहर में we did a show with Saurabh Jha, an economist I really respect. उन्होंने बड़ा clearly, we did a 1.5 hour long show. He explained this entire thing very, very clearly. Trust me, guys, watch that show. He will tell you how market dynamics actually work and what could be the responses of the Americans if anybody starts to try that. ठीक है,
And
अभी तो
BRICS
हम
is nowhere going to be a counter to NATO. That's for sure. It's not going to happen. NATO is something else. The treaty alliances are different. Their security parameters work very differently. With BRICS, it's not going to work that way because we have a lot of over-converging things into it. And look, it's not. BRICS is not going to do it.
Yeah. Osho Saab, thank you. Your blog, when you stopped writing for Chanakya Forum also. I have never written for Chanakya Forum, so it has to be you.
No, I have not stopped. I never wrote for Chanakya Forum. I think they published one of my pieces, which was written somewhere else. I'm not sure. I think they did. But it has not stopped. I'm writing. I just wrote a piece on the CPEC, which was published by India Foundation. It is on my Twitter profile. It's pinned to my profile.
And in another
And
week,
I'm
a lot of
writing
Raja Saab's writings will be on
Dev
thedeftalks.com.
Talks. Yeah, I'll be putting all them there as an archive, so you can access them there. And I'm writing one more, which you will get in a couple of weeks. So,
So
and that
let
will
me
address
repeat.
your radicalization
Yeah.
issue also.
तो रात को मतलब उठा के रखोगे मेरे को, हाँ? चलो, आपको साथ में रखूंगा फिर।
पहले मुझे लिखने दो, देखने दो कितना बनता है.
साथ
Let
में
me
रखूंगा।
experiment it with her.
Yeah.
ठीक है, done है,
Rutwit
आप
Saab,
there.
Rutwit Saab, thank you. Saurabh Jha, liquidity and might of dollar because of military and dollar reserve currency is what makes dollar liquid and large. Military is because of the dollar. What Jha said about Greece and Germany is true because Europe, Korea, Japan banned pegged to the dollar. Trust me, his explanation for the entire system that he spoke about was made a lot of sense to me. मैंने बैठ के दोबारा सुना उनका podcast because during the podcast I'm kind of looking at various different things and it was a little technical. I actually heard it again. Class award,
I'll
man.
hear it.
Guys,
I haven't. I'll check it out.
amazing stuff. Aurobindo ji, thank you so much. My request to the moderators, please, one of you can put that podcast in the comment after the session finishes so that I can pin it so that more people can watch it, please. Thank you. Sanjay Saab, thank you for your contribution. Chandrasekhar ji, thank you. AGI exponential 100 crores times intelligent by 2030.
I don't know the context of this question.
Yeah.
I didn't get the context of this question. I'm sorry. If you can be more elaborative or you can, just put in a better way.
Rohan Saab says if something wrong happens in Pakistan, the military just decides to wage war on India. Do you think we should prepare with our Air Force squadron procure jets soon?
No, don't worry. We have enough to take care of them, even with our depleted resource. But they are not in a position to wage war with us. They won't last 3 hours. So don't worry. They'll last a day at the max, 2 days. They don't have the resources to last.
I'd remind you about क्या नाम था उसका प्रीवियस आर्मी चीफ कमर जावेद बाजवा टैंकों में जंग लगा हुआ है पेट्रोल के पैसे नहीं है
वो सही बोलता है उसने सही बोला बेचारे ने पैसे नहीं है उनके पास वो सही है वो तो कहाँ से जेट पे क्या चलाएंगे पानी पे थोड़े चलेगा वो
Yeah, Rutvij, you're absolutely correct when you say alliance is what makes the dollar. Absolutely correct. Suman Awasthi Saab, thank you for this very interesting question. What are your thoughts about Nawaz doing drama celebrating Diwali with 15,000 PKR to a few Hindus and governors since celebrating Diwali in governor's house?
Look, that's adding insult to the injury, basically. That is showing that, to the world that how we treat our own misdemeanor inside our country. These are theatrics. These are jackass theatrics, nothing else. The truth is their population has declined to less than 1.84. Now I was looking at the Pew research, which is saying it's going to further decline by 1.34. I was looking at Pew and thinking they might not even be existing by 2050. The Hindus in Pakistan, I don't know how they have done that. 0.2 is going to be less. The way they convert them and the way they look, it's terrible what they do with Hindus in Pakistan. So I take it as an insult. What he was doing is an insult. It's honestly an insult.
Bump. Adil Saab, he says if Karachi port handover to China, would Altaf Hussain come as a tool of the MI6 or else?
See, Karachi port pe to Afghan ki nazar hai na. Chinese ki nahi hai. Chinese cannot take Karachi port, but the Afghans are watching it over. So are the other Islamists watching Karachi port. Chinese will not take over the Karachi port. Chinese won't bother.
Ramachandran Nair Saab don't understand why GOI didn't take Zakir Nair issue with Malaysian Prime Minister came here. In fact, he had audacity to talk about minority safety here. What makes you think it wasn't taken up? Please read the joint statement. Uske andar bada clearly likha hua hai. There are concerns about certain individuals that have been addressed directly with the Prime Minister.
And I think what GOI needs to do is, instead of calling him a fugitive, they should call him a white-collar terrorist.
Terrorist. Simple as that. जैसे आप कनाडा के साथ कर रहे हो, exactly वही करना है आपको. Srinivas ji, thank you. You say, will Iran, Pakistan, India gas pipeline? There's no India gas pipeline.
Tapi की बात कर रहा है. I think he's referring to Tapi.
Tapi is not from Iran.
This should be Tapi if it's India. Otherwise, he's talking about the Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline. That is not for India. TAPI is for India, which is coming from Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. But if you're talking about the Iran-Pakistan pipeline, look, that wo to gadhe mein chala gaya. Iran is taking them to the international court and suing them for $18 billion. That is where it has gone to.
You know, that's मेरे को लगता है that's one of the reasons why ISKP से कुछ करा नहीं रहे.
And it doesn't help Indians. नहीं, इनकी problem है ये, they are regrouping. This is going to escalate this ISKP issue. आप ये देखो कहाँ जाता है ये game.
Kapil साहब, thank you. You say दिवाली खत्म हो गई है. Hope the unknown gunmen have got their दिवाली बख्शीश. अभी तक बैंक अकाउंट चेक नहीं करा, कल चेक करके बताऊंगा.
मेरे पास कुछ नहीं आया. मैंने चेक किया था, मेरे पास तो कुछ नहीं आया. So I am not one among them.
Yeah, okay. This is a Mizoram question, so we will address this later. Ninad Bhatt Saab, where is Hafiz Saeed nowadays? I suppose in Canada. Who's taking
He's
calls
in
for the JUD? LET.
He's in Pakistan.
Is he Zakir
It's
or
both.
Rahman Lakwi?
Both. This Rahman Lakwi takes care of the international front of the JUD. The overall is taken care by Hafiz Saeed and Talha Saeed. So, and he's in Pakistan. He's nowhere else. He's sitting in Pakistan. In fact, you know, the Afghanis have shut down their camps and told him to go back to Pakistan.
True.
LET
Norman Saab, so Pakistan tried to replace ISKP cells in Ghor province in Afghanistan to irk Iran further. More than 20 were killed by the GDI. I think there were 4 or 5 captured also.
But there are attacks which are increasing also in Afghanistan. Almost 8 per day hona shuru ho gaya. So they're heating up. Yeah.
Rajesh Saab says, who's running Pakistan? Americans, Chinese, Shabazz, Nawaz, Imran, Pak Army, TTA, TTP, or other terror organization? Who has the upper hand?
This is the khichdi you have to know. But the Americans are controlling them by the balls because the money is not being released.
All right. Manav San says, if US wants a new funda in charge of Pakistan, then aren't they paving another road of 9/11? Shouldn't we be documenting evidence to present for when the next 9/11 happens?
This is a very good question, and I really want to answer this in a very serious tone. Let me tell you something. I am hearing from a lot of experts saying that Americans do not understand Islamists. Americans think they can control Islamists. Please understand, and this is my very humble analysis of this, Americans do understand the Islamists. As long as these Islamists don't wreak havoc on American land, the Americans are absolutely fine with it. So whatever they are doing in Bangladesh, whatever they are doing in Pakistan, whatever they are doing in Afghanistan is not reaching American borders. Until things don't reach American borders, Americans don't care. So, you know, this misconception that Americans don't understand Islamists is very, very, I would say premature, misguided. They do understand, and they're playing, and they understand what havoc they can run. So Americans are doing exactly with the Islamists what they have been doing since 1960s, 70s.
True.
As long, and they know how to keep them away from the American borders. They don't care about Europe. They don't care about UK. As long as these Islamists don't do anything stupid in US, the Americans are happy dealing with them.
Yeah. All right. Aadi, why is army afraid to take out Imran Khan? They'll burn themselves.
Right? You take out Imran Khan, Muneeb will have to pack up.
Yeah.
That will be the last. He will have to make his final U-turn and go home. Right? So the army cannot let him loose. The whole system has to collapse in Pakistan.
True. Last few questions. Ashish Saab, thank you. The Raja Saab, what do you think about China pullout? How should we look at considering it still carries feelings of Pakistan?
Yeah, it's a tactical pullout.
Yeah.
It's a tactical pullout. I am very, we have to be very, very careful with the Chinese. Just because they have pulled out doesn't mean that we are going to be best of friends. I have a reservation with the Chinese, but it's a tactical pullout from the Chinese side at the moment.
Yeah. Once again, Jain Saab, thank you. How is Turkey playing with Pakistan? They are collaborating on stealth aircraft, a Vinci UAV, along with Bayraktar TB2.
Yeah, Turkey ki problem ye hai, Turkey is stuck. The Turkish are really, really stuck. The Turkeys want to get into the Chinese camp. They are not getting in the Chinese camp. The Americans don't trust them too much. Erdogan has created a problem in Turkey because the radicalization which has happened in Turkey under Erdogan's watch is a problem for Europe. So Turkey is in doldrums itself. They are again, they are somebody who are stuck. So yes, they have the technology, they do supply weapons, but at the end of the day, I think Turkey is losing favors, and that is why Turkey wanted to be on BRICS, the only NATO nation who wants to go to BRICS. The reason was he wanted to switch sides, which is not happening. The Chinese don't want the Turkish. They think they are the Trojan horses of the Americans.
Srinivasa,
So Turkey
thank
is in
you.
trouble.
Most Pakistani YouTubers want to trade with India. Should we trade with them? Why? Let's
What
say if
do
India
they want?
resumes trade.
No, what do they want to trade with us? The likes
They
and
don't have anything.
subscriptions.
No, we are
Look, the Pakistani YouTubers need a livelihood. I had tweeted it that day also. They call us, they talk about us because we keep these beggars begging fouls full. ठीक है, वो जब तक हम पे कंटेंट बनाते हैं, हम रिएक्ट करते हैं, हम देखते हैं, उन बेचारों को पैसे मिलते हैं, पैसे कमाने दो और उनको उससे ज्यादा सीरियस मत लो. It's just that you're doing charity to them by filling their coffers. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't take them seriously.
Saurav Saab says, thank you. Firstly, North Koreans in Russia not to be liked by China. We've discussed that.
We
Absolutely
explained that.
And last comment, Sajid Haider Varech Saab says, you need to come out of the hate of Pakistan, keep limited to the remains of colonialism. I will do that, sir. The day Pakistan stops sending terrorists.
No. Hold on. You know what? We don't need lecture from you guys. Why don't you go and change your own society and think about it rather than coming and telling us come out of hate? You come out of hate. You start accepting. You go and you know what? If you are really serious about this, why don't you go and start a rights movement against your minorities, protect each and every Hindu, and treat them with fairness and change your laws. Go change your laws. Let them become the prime minister and the generals in your country. Then we'll talk about it. Don't come and give us sermons. We are not here to take your sermons.
Yeah.
Get lost.
Raja Ashish Saab, thank you. Raja Saab, how do you see the current BRICS? Pakistan, Turkey, Iran trying hard to get in. Iran is already in.
Iran is there. Iran is observing member, I suppose, and that is because the Russians wanted them. The Pakistanis and the Turkish both are not very welcome.
As a matter of fact, India and China blocked Turkey.
Both.
And Pakistan was blocked by India. So,
by India, yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
The Chinese hate the Turkish, huh? By the way, let me say that very clearly. They don't like it.
Chinese say they are a Trojan horse, no? Yeah. Chinese call them the Trojan horse. Yeah, that's true.
And Raja Saab आज फॉर्म में है, धो दिया एकदम से.
I don't like this. No, I don't like the Pakistanis coming and giving sermons to us. That's the last thing I would want from the scoundrels. If they have so much of, they want things to change, I think they need to change themselves. The day they change themselves, we'll see. Actions talk louder than words. As simple as that.
Pakistan is not a country. Okay? It's just an idea. It's a space. That's just about it. I don't care further than that. They can live or die. I have no freaking love lost for them. On that note, sir, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming in. Wonderful chat. Today was a very, very interesting and very dynamic chat, if I may say.
Thank you. मुझे ये लगा कहीं ज़्यादा heavy तो नहीं हो गई, bore तो नहीं हो गए लोग.
नहीं, heavy तो अच्छा है. People are very happy with it, but there's something that we need to kind of keep doing because wargaming is something that we will have to do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
करना ही पड़ेगा. Thank you.
थोड़ा और accelerated करना पड़ेगा. Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Have a good night.
Jai Bharat. You too, sir.
Bye-bye.